Greetings, weary wanderer. Today we have an incredibly unbelievable story awaiting us, which is still being debated as to whether it actually happened. The mystery of the only woman in world history who became the Pope, and the cards dedicated to her. The plot is so captivating and inspiring that it continues to live on for almost 1,000 years. The Major Arcana card, the High Priestess, was originally called the Popess. In both the Visconti-Sforza deck and the Marseille tarot, we see a woman wearing a papal tiara on the card. It is believed that behind the guise of Pope John VIII, who occupied the Holy See between Pope Leo IV and Pope Benedict III, there was actually a woman. This event took place in the 9th century, at least 500 years before the first tarot cards reached us. As Martin von Troppau wrote in Chronicles of Popes and Emperors, at the age of 12, Joanna disguised herself as a boy and embarked on her first pilgrimage to Mount Athos. She made a remarkable career within the church, still concealing her true gender. She went from a simple notary of the Curia to ascending to the papal throne. Love brought her downfall. Yielding to her emotions, she became pregnant, and labor began during one of the sacred processions. According to one version, she died as a result of a difficult childbirth. According to another, she was killed by an outraged mob. If this indeed happened, all the real documents and evidence were meticulously destroyed, as it would have been detrimental to the reputation of the entire church. Nowadays, Joanna is considered nothing more than a mystification. However, they still cannot explain why subsequent popes underwent the humiliating ceremony of checking their gender on a special dung chair with a hole in the seat. Did the Mason and Rosicrucian Waite intend to erase the memory of the Popess while preserving her in the tarot? As an adept of secret Christian societies, he was obligated to hide such secrets. And the fact remains that he changed the name of the card from the Popess to the High Priestess in his deck. As always, in Waite's High Priestess card, he concealed numerous secret symbols. The two columns standing on the left and right of the priestess immediately reveal Waite's affiliation with Freemasonry. These columns represent the pillars of the first temple in Jerusalem, known as Solomon's Temple. The temple is a central symbol in Freemasonry. Freemasons believe that their secret society originated during the construction of Solomon's Temple. The Knights Templar are also associated with the temple. The original inhabitants of the temple were the Knights of the Order, and the Brotherhood itself was called the Poor Fellow Soldiers of Christ and of the Temple of Solomon. The letter B is written on the left column, signifying Boaz, which translates from Hebrew as "in him is strength." The letter J is written on the right column, signifying Jachin, which translates from Hebrew as "he will establish." In Freemasonry, these columns also represent Boaz as primordial chaos and destruction, and Jachin as creation. Usually, Masons depict steps between the columns, symbolizing the trials encountered during Masonic initiation. However, in Waite's card, we see the High Priestess herself between the columns, with a curtain behind her, concealing secret knowledge from the uninitiated. The pomegranates on the curtain also directly allude to Solomon's Temple. Each of the temple's columns stood on a base adorned with 200 pomegranates, symbols of fertility. The scroll on the High Priestess's lap symbolizes secret knowledge. We can only see the inscription of Torah, meaning law. The rest of the text is hidden from our view within the priestess's garments. The crown consists of 3 elements, the crescent moon waxing and waning on each side, with the full moon in the center. This is often depicted as the Roman goddess Diana or the Greek goddess Artemis. At the feet of the priestess, we also see the crescent moon. In his book The Divinatory Tarot, Papus reintroduces the name the Popess, but adds a second name, the Consulted One or the Diviner. However, visually, the card remains similar to Waite's depiction. The High Priestess is often associated with the goddess Artemis. In ancient Greek mythology, Artemis is the eternally youthful goddess of hunting, the moon, and the protector of all living beings. Artemis is also associated with intuition and renowned for her wisdom. These same qualities are inherent in the High Priestess. Aleister Crowley explicitly states that his Thoth tarot deck depicts Artemis on the card of the High Priestess. She is already dressed in a veil of light, symbolizing hidden knowledge. On the lap of the High Priestess, there is the bow of the goddess of hunting, which also serves as a musical instrument. This symbolizes Artemis's ability to enchant through her hunting. The most unexpected symbol on the card is a camel. The camel, walking through the desert, leaves traces into which moisture seeps, eventually causing the desert to bloom. This is a metaphor for secret knowledge that grows slowly but eventually bears abundant fruit. And behind the tarot card of the High Priestess, there is another hidden story from real life. It depicts a person who actually existed, namely Madame Lenormand herself. This card refers to a lithograph that portrays Lenormand in prison in Belgium in 1821, where she ended up for engaging in illegal fortune-telling activities. Interestingly, Lenormand found herself in Belgium due to a prediction she made about Napoleon's defeat by Russia. As we now know, she was right. The second name of the card, Study, suggests what Lenormand is occupied with in her prison cell. The story of the High Priestess card, and the only woman in world history who became the Pope, has come to an end. But our journey continues, so it's time to move on to the next Major Arcana.